Morning, guys. It's Thursday. It is July 25th. Give me a second. I'll change my glasses. There we go. And I'm going to say hi to my cat. Anyway, Thursday, July 25th, 2024. It is 5 o'clock in the morning. We're reading from Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, which is Dr. Wayne Dyer's, excuse me, interpretation of the Tao Te Ching. And that's the key word, interpretation. It is not a literal translation, although he does offer a translation based upon other people. Um, I think for me, the best translation, or my favorite translation, Stephen Mitchell, and it's a small book, 81 verses. You can carry it with you everywhere, and you can dive in any situation, and you get just what you need in any moment. Um, the Tao speaks to you in a way that you are open to it, which I find fascinating. So let's dive in, guys. This is verse 56. By the way, that makes 25 days left of the daily verses. After that, we might dive into um, Deepak Chopra's The Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, which is a great little Vedic yogic handbook. And we'll see. Everything's wide open. So the 56th verse, Tao Te Ching. Those who know do not talk. Those who talk do not know. Block all the passages. Close your mouth. Cordon off your senses. Blunt your sharpness. Untie your knots. Soften your glare. Settle your dust. This is primal union, or the secret embrace. One who knows this secret is not moved by attachment or aversion, swayed by profit or loss, nor touched by honor nor disgrace. He is far beyond the cares of men, yet comes to hold the dearest place in their hearts. This, therefore, is the highest state of man. I absolutely love how perennial wisdom, the perennial philosophy, so very often, give me a second, guys. Let me bring up my desktop, just in case we get a comment coming up. That perennial philosophy, the perennial wisdom, comes together across culture, across barriers, and that you can find similar statements in the Tao, from the Tao Te Ching to the Bhagavad Gita to the Upanishads. This doesn't seem to matter. That wisdom, insights unfold across all traditions. So you're almost guaranteed, even the Bible, we're almost guaranteed that if we dive into a holy text, anyone that really calls to us, that we're going to find the answers that we need. We're going to find the wisdom that we seek, because it doesn't lie in the book itself. It lies within us. So we surrender to the process. We surrender to life. It's been a big theme playing through my life, is that surrender. Can I surrender to inspiration and live my life from there? We're going to see. We're going to find out. It's one great experiment. Here's the problem with life. Life itself doesn't have a problem. Here's our problem with the interpretation of life. We're almost afraid to experiment sometime because we're going to fail. We're most certainly going to fail in something. However, it can be a grand failure. We can allow ourselves to fail and rise up from the ashes of any supposed failure and be re-inspired as something other. It's the whole thing with inspiration. It never ends. We're always re-inspired and re-inspired and re-inspired. We can call that rebirth. We can call it reincarnation. That we are cells, we are molecules, we are atoms, we are particles, and we are the energy that holds that all together. And eventually, we are going to be rearranged as something other. We're going to be re-inspired. We can do that right now. This is why in the Sufi tradition, they say die before you die. Die to the concepts that hold you in this place, that keep you bound and afraid to try something different, of surrendering the life that you know to something far, far greater. What Patanjali calls dormant forces coming to your aid when you are inspired to be something other than you are right now. Reinvent your life in any moment. It's funny that, verse 56 of the Tao Te Ching begins with, those who know do not talk, those who talk do not know. Well, what if you're inspired to be a teacher? What do? What if, as the Course in Miracles says, we're all teachers and we're students at the same time because we teach that which we most need to learn? There's a difference between opening and sharing and pontificating. That so often, if I find myself giving advice or standing on a soapbox and saying, this is the way things are, guys, this is the only way things are, guys, your insights don't matter, all that matters is this insight, then it's not the Tao. It's not even truly inspiration, it's my own opinion, which means absolutely nothing. Not in the next moment. In this moment, all that is all that is. The insight counts for this moment. How I share it, I don't know. You open up and you share it and then you let it go. Don't draw it back and then say, but this is the only way it's supposed to be. Because someone else in the same conversation might come up with a different, a very different insight. Be open to it. See what it presents. Mava says, hi. Hello, my friend. How are you? We're reading an interpretation of the Tao Te Ching. I read it once and then I read the very beginning of it. This is the second part of the verse. It says, block all the passages, close your mouth, cordon off your senses, blunt your sharpness, untie your knots, soften your glare, settle your dust. This is primal union or the secret embrace. That means you're just letting go. Everything except for just this moment. And you're simply being. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to shout. You don't need to shake someone and say, hey, guys, wake up to this. They'll wake up in their own way. However, you can demonstrate your insight. So if your insight is to be kind, that it's always better to be kind than it is to be right, doesn't mean that you're not right. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It means that if you have to convince someone that you're right, chances are you're probably not right. Chances are if you're convincing someone, you're not even really being kind. What you're doing is saying, my opinion is more important than yours right now. You can still state it. But as Lao Tzu says in the Tao Te Ching, close your mouth, cordon off your senses, blunt your sharpness, untie your knots, soften your glare, settle your dust. One who knows the secret is not moved by attachments or aversion, swayed by profit or loss, nor touched by honor or disgrace. He is far beyond the cares of men, yet comes to hold the nearest place in their hearts. This, therefore, is the highest state of man. This reminds me two things. It reminds me of the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna counsels Arjuna on the principle of detachment, being unattached to, as Abraham Maslow, the father of positive psychology, said, being unattached to the good opinion of others. That's being unattached to everything that comes in life, especially our own opinion. How many people do we know, and how many times do we do it when we're attached to our own opinion? Our own political belief, our own religious belief, our own spiritual belief, our own concept of how life should be, our own opinion that we're right and someone else is wrong. and we proceed through life almost in a bullying fashion. It's got to be this way, simply because I think it. It's got to be this way, simply because my parents told me it is. It's got to be this way because a teacher says it is, or I read it in a book, or I just heard it on the news. Let's see, Jace is here. Jace says, greeting, Erics. Greeting, my friend, Jace. It was fun visiting you this morning. If you guys aren't familiar with Jace, Jace is in England. Every morning he starts off with an excellent workout. It really is one of the best workouts you'll find on YouTube because he works hard, but he's also gentle. He's not asking you to work out to the point where you're totally exhausted. He's saying, do what you can within these bounds. Be healthy. Be well adjusted. Be well. Be kind to your body. Be kind to your mind. Be kind to others. Our friend Goldie is here. Goldie says hi to other people, and she very, very kindly drops the link for Jace. I found that when I very, very first started reading about the Tao, and this was in 1981, when I started reading the Bhagavad Gita, which was in the late 80s, practicing meditation seriously, I was dead set on telling people how wrong they were, that they did something different. Your spirituality is wrong, your religion is wrong. This is the way. It's the way because I've read it, and it seems true, it feels true, and I'm so enthusiastic about it that it has to be true for you as well. And of course, perennial wisdom, perennial philosophy, is indeed true for everyone, but there are infinite ways of arriving there. Never, never judge someone else's path. We all arrive at the same place in our own way at different times. Jason Sadamava, as does Goldie. Appreciate you guys joining me for the morning. I'm just rambling on. I'm talking about, again, the Tao Te Ching. The Tao translates to the way. T-E, means small virtue or hidden virtue. It's the hidden virtue of the way. Practicing the hidden virtue of the way. I love that thought, hidden virtue. Everything has a hidden virtue in it. We only have to look at it. A leaf. Look at a leaf and you find the hidden virtue of absorbing sunlight and nurturing the plant. And through nurturing the plant, it offers oxygen. And through oxygen, we're able to breathe. It's a holy relationship all through life. Beautiful way of just noticing. Pay attention. If you've ever read Huxley's The Island, Aldous Huxley's The Island, he talks about this utopian island where there's signs posted throughout on every trail, on every road, and it simply says, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Pay attention to a leaf, and you'll know the secret to the universe. Pay attention to a seed, and you'll know the secret of manifestation. Pay attention to a cloud, and you'll know the infinite secret of the sky. All of these are our secrets. They belong to us. If you know the secret of the sky, you know the secret of the Buddhists call blue sky identity. Jay says, links in a big chain. Seamlessly so. It's all seamless. There's no place where one link ends and another link begins. It's all seamless. All seamless. Our friend Optimob is here. Timo is here. Eric Lapointe is here. Good morning. Great to see you. You know what? It's really fun is seeing you guys from channel to channel. Timo says, hey everyone, hope you all doing good. Jay says, Timo morning. Hey Timo. Hi there, Eric Lapointe. Hi there, Timo. So, you know, our friend Jace was talking about a chain. He mentioned it. He mentions it in lots of talks. We see that displayed from channel to channel every morning. That we start off with Jace or someone else, and then we end up Runnaboy's live. We might end up at Runnaboy, and then I'm live. We might find ourselves here. Maybe Eric Lapointe will be live. We all find ourselves there. And it just flows and unfolds. That's what I mean by paying attention. How one thing leads to the next. Really, there's no next. There's no next. I wrote about this morning. And of Course in Miracles, it's called a holy instant. And a holy instant is the transformation of any moment into the insight of unity, the insight of oneness, the insight of unconditional love. The truth is, every moment's a holy moment, but we have to give it our attention. When we give it our attention, everything is transformed. Life itself is transformed. So we could say that there's infinite love, there's God, and God is filtered down through our attention so that everything is transformed into a holy instant. Jay says, ELP, thanks for this morning, brother. It was great to see you, to see family in the live. Heartwarming. We got the link dropped to Eric Lapointe from Goldie. Thank you, Goldie. Eric Lapointe says anytime. Goldie drops the link for Timo. Timo, by the way, has a brand new Morning with Backs video. Came out almost 2 hours ago. Good morning from Switzerland, featuring Backs on the thumbnail. 2 minutes, 16 seconds. What better way to start your morning than, for some the morning's already started, but before it gets too busy, spend 2 minutes, 16 seconds with Backs in Switzerland. And just a quick breakthrough. We got Brian Lane doing 200 unbroken rocking chair style burpees. 5 hours ago, E is God's son. He's got a beautiful message. He does sock puppets, and he puts out little beautiful life messages. He was live about 5 hours ago. You can still check out his message. Joe Delaney's got a new short out. Just One Sue, offering beautiful sky of Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania. So anyway, this is what Jace talks about, a chain. Follow the chain. Follow the chain that's offered on YouTube. YouTube can be just as holy as any place else in the world. It can be just as sacred as a temple. It can be just as beautiful as a tree and a deep forest. Follow the links. See where it leads you. Let's see. Goldie says, Bax loves rolling in the grass. That's a good lesson for us. You know what? I think we all love rolling in the grass, but how often do we allow ourselves to roll in the grass? Speaking of which, he is God's son. I just mentioned you, my friend, like just an instant ago. I told everyone to check out your channel. You just put out about 5 hours ago. Just did a wonderful message. He is God's son is someone that has a deep, deep, abiding faith. And he shares it in a truly loving and inspired message. He doesn't preach. He doesn't say, hey, this is the only way to do it. He just shares his message. I love when people do that. I remind myself to do that. That when I talk about the Tao, I remember that the Tao is everything, and it's expressed not just in my opinion, it's also expressed in your opinion. That God is everything, so that God is expressed through my opinion of the Tao Te Ching. Let's see. We got the link drop. Awesome. From Goldie and Jace. Thank you, guys. How's that for a synchronistic event that we just mentioned? He is God's son, and he shows up. Absolutely awesome. Again, we're going to use our friend Jace as the teacher of the day. That Jace loves talking about that chain. You mentioned he is God's son, and he shows up. That chain just led right into that moment. Perfectly demonstrated. Walking with Goldie says, beat you to it, Jace. You guys are on the ball, that's for sure. Amazingly so, you know, for some of us, it's still early. Others, they've been up and working for quite some time. Jace says he blames the internet. So it's 5:20 for me. I'll talk for about 5 more minutes. And I'll get ready to take my walk. I've been pushing my walk off a little bit later. Only because I love catching first sunlight when it shows up. And today, this morning, the sun will come up here, eastern United States, at 6:01. About 3 weeks ago, it was showing up at about 5:30, which was awesome for me. Walking with Goldie says, blame it on time travel. I'm 2 hours ahead of you, Jace. So, you see, Goldie knew exactly what time Jace was going to, because she's from the future, exactly what time Jace was going to post He Is God's Son's link, and she jumped in a moment beforehand. She's using her advantageous. I'm just trying to throw in a big word, 5 o'clock in the morning, advantageous. She's throwing in that advantageous being in the future. Jace says, Goldie, I'm happy to embrace our joint thoughts of kindness. And no one is kinder than Jace and Goldie, that's for sure. So I hope everyone, if you're in the midst of your day, I hope you're having a good day. If your day is getting started, I hope it's going to be a wonderful day. Eric LaPointe is waking up, and he's got a whole day ahead on a Connecticut Christmas tree farm. Beautiful way to spend the day. One of the great things Eric LaPointe shows, loving what you do. You get this honest feeling that Eric LaPointe is in love with his life. Not that doesn't have problems or issues or stress or whatever, but man, you wake up on a farm in Connecticut. Does it get more beautiful than that? Eric LaPointe says yes. That's the important thing. You know what? No one's stress-free. No one escapes. Even if you feel you're living your perfect life, things are going to happen. Life is going to throw a curveball at you. But what's the old saying? Bloom where you're planted. When you find yourself blooming where you're planted, then also holy winds will blow, and you'll find that very often you are replanted somewhere else, and you get to bloom there. Eric LaPointe was not always a Christmas tree farmer. He did some other stuff, but he endeavored to live the life that he wanted. It'd be an interesting story, and maybe he'll share it on one of his own live streams. Always happy for him to share it here, but I think it's more meaningful when you talk. How did Eric LaPointe? He designed ocean buoys. Am I saying that right? Buoys? Am I getting the facts right? I think in his heart, this is what he's always wanted to do. He wanted to work in the woods. He always wanted to be close to the land. And through a series of probably synchronistic events, he was led to live the life that he wanted. Here he is. Eric LaPointe says yes. It would be a great live stream, Eric LaPointe. I talk about stuff like that, and I wrote about it this morning. You know, my own endeavor. The one thing I've always wanted to do was live my life through my own creative means. as a writer, or reading my writing, sharing my writing, and sharing the things that I'm in the process of learning myself. I'm not so much a teacher as I want to be a demonstrator. That if I want to teach peace, I have to demonstrate peace. I have to be at peace. If I want to be at peace, I have to demonstrate peace. It all comes around. Goldie says, "Love the people. People, please tap the like button." Thank you for that, Goldie. Um, and how everything led me, everything that seemed like a failure, has led me to the point now where I'm at a place where I can sit in front of a phone and talk about the Tao Te Ching at 5 o'clock in the morning and maybe make two, 2 or 3 cents per ad that everyone watches. But it all adds up. It all adds up. And it's money earned, it's a livelihood earned through creative means. Man, how awesome is that? The key is, can I surrender to the process? Not bring my own confines saying it's got to be this way. I don't know how it's supposed to be. This is the whole process of the greatest prayer of all. Not my will, but thine. Goldie, did I get that right? Not my will, but thine. This is why, we're in this conflict of interest where we say we love to talk about free will. I have free will. I get to endeavor my life the way I want it. I get to push and pull. Of course, neuroscience shows there is no free will. Yogic insights show there is no free will, not ultimately. And the greatest prayer is one of surrender. So you think you know best, but you don't know best. That's the message of A Course in Miracles. The ego is always wrong because the ego always says it has to be my way. The ego always says more. It says more at the expense of other people. I want to eat more and more and more and more at the expense of my overall health. I want to have more at the expense of other people having nothing. We produce enough grain in one state that could feed every single person in the world. We go to bed each night knowing that we believe it's okay for children to starve, and we think we can't do anything about it. However, when each and every one of us awakens to the fact that there is it's insane that someone goes hungry in a world where there's more than enough for everyone. It's an insane thought. And A Course in Miracles says that we're living that insanity. However, when we turn it over to God, then we're living with a greater world than ours. And we have the insight that, everyone can be fed. I don't even need to eat less. I just need to make a little changes. I might need to realize that, it's okay to be content. I don't need to keep reaching and reaching and reaching. Here's what you find, guys. If I reach this far, I'm holding the entire universe in my hands. If I reach this far, the universe doesn't get bigger. I'm still holding, by the way, my hands are up and I'm holding. If I reach all the way up in the sky, I'm still holding the very same universe. It doesn't change. The infinite is the infinite. So what's the sense in reaching for more that doesn't truly satisfy us? The saying in AA, in Alcoholics Anonymous, is we never get enough of what we truly don't want. We never get enough of what hurts us, which is why the alcoholic keeps drinking. One more drink, one more drink, one more drink. We never get enough. And yet we're never filled, we're never satisfied. It's a spiritual void that only love, unconditional love, and we could call unconditional love the Tao, Krishna, Jesus, God, Allah, it does not matter what we call it. That's the only thing that fills the void. We find the void is a purpose, it has a reason. The void is a capacity to hold everything, and yet we're trying to fill it with little things. Let's see. Goldie says, yes, I did get it right. Nice. Eric Point says, pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome when we just consider how life gives us everything we need. When you woke up this morning, did you search for a breath? Did you wonder, man, I hope there's going to be enough air today? I hope the universe gives me enough air to breathe. We didn't say, man, I better jumpstart my heart. Everything just happened. The universe already delivered. Goldie says, in a world where people throw food away. Exactly. How about if we just had enough? If we didn't live by our appetites, but we lived by our spirit? The spirit goes through life saying, this. This. The ego goes through life saying more. I want more than this. I want more than this. I want more than this. Think of the satisfaction of just saying versus the always unsatisfying. This is what the Buddha called dukkha, transient, unsatisfying by its very nature. Going through life saying, this isn't enough. I want more than this. This sucks. I hate this moment. When is this going to end? Let's see. Optimop says, thank you for dropping my link. Can't answer. Driving. Goldie says, drive safely. Timo, indeed, drive safely. Jay says, love is the only thing that can fill every space. Indeed, my friend, and beautifully said. Goldie says, well, on this point, I agree to disagree with you. Goldie says, understandable. You and I fairly often come to points of disagreement, and yet, in essence, it always works out perfectly so. Goldie has given me some truly, truly great insights, and she's opened me up to speaking freely from my own origins of Catholic faith, of Christian faith, without separating it from my yogic insights or reading from the Tao or in Course in Miracles. For a long time, I wouldn't do that. I didn't want to, I had some yoga friends who were deeply agnostic or even atheist. And they would say, why don't you just admit that you're an atheist? The reason I would never admit that I was an atheist is because I'm not an atheist. However, I don't say that I am a non-atheist either. I don't want to have a label. This is why I don't say I'm a Democrat or why I'm a Republican. I'm me, whoever that might be. I vote from my heart. I speak from my heart. And when I can surrender my own best opinion, why I can look at Goldie and say, well, you disagree, but I'm right. It's because I don't know that I'm right. So why force it? Krishna says, only Jesus died for our sins. I don't know any deity that said that. See, this is where you're right, where we do disagree, because I truly see myself as sinless, and I see Goldie as sinless, and I see Eric Lapointe as sinless. Well, maybe not Eric Lapointe. I see everyone as sinless, because when Jesus looked down from the cross, he didn't see the sins of those that tormented him. He saw their innocence and said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, which coincides with the yogic wisdom of the Kleshas, that we all have the original innocence, our original garden. And Genesis says that Adam fell asleep, but nowhere in the Bible does it says that he awoken. We fell asleep in the garden, dreaming that we were kicked out. How can a dreamer contain the sin of the dream when he can waken up any minute? We got a laughing emoji from Jesus. However, Goldie says this is where we disagree, because her faith and her insights lead her with something different. In no way would I ever debate or argue with Goldie, because she has a deep faith that she displays wonderfully, and I can learn a lot from it. And Goldie never ever says to me, Eric, you're wrong. She says we disagree. What a huge difference. And what a huge act of kindness from Goldie. She doesn't attempt to make me wrong. She is assured in her own faith. So she has no need to shake me and say, Eric, can't you see how wrong you are? She has faith that if I am wrong, through her own demonstration, through her own kindness, through the infinite wisdom of God, I will see things in that way if I am called to do so. What a beautiful way to navigate through life. Goldie says it's not for the sake of arguing or to convince anyone. Exactly. To me, I feel, man, walking with Goldie, Eric LaPointe, Jace, all of you guys, I feel a deep connection and a kinship, friendship. And I'm very fortunate that I get to talk and message with Goldie outside of YouTube as well. Because again, she has so much to offer me. And I see that. Again, she never tries to make me wrong or anyone else. And we often talk matters of faith. And she shares with me beautiful, beautiful things. And I am indebted to Goldie. As well as I am to all of you guys. All right, guys, it is almost 5:20. It's 5:37. The sun will be up in 21 minutes, or it'll start coming up. I have deep hope of seeing a fox this morning. If not a fox, I have deep hope of hearing an owl, or maybe seeing a hawk. I'll be just as happy seeing a bunny or a squirrel. Whatever nature shows me. I got my camera in hand. I'm going to be out in nature. I mentioned I got a phone with night vision. Not a phone, a camera. It didn't work. It wouldn't hold a charge. So we're sending it back. I'm getting a new one. It might be another week before I get it. That's going to open up a whole new world for me. Jace says, enjoy the nature. I will, Jace. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining me. It's very much appreciated. I'm really beginning to love my morning live streams. It has a whole different energy. Even though I always sound stuffed up because of allergies. It's just fun talking to you guys. Eric LaPointe says, another great live. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. Let's see everyone later. I'm looking forward to see what's presented for the day from all you guys. If anyone's going to go live or share something, I know I'm going to see you at least somewhere else on the YouTube streets. So, guys, take care. Goldie says, thank you for the lovely live and chat. Thank you for joining me, Goldie. Always. Jace, thank you. Optimob, thank you. Mava, very much appreciate you being here. And anyone else who just happened to stop by even for a moment, much appreciated. I'll see you guys later. Take care.